Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into some powerful psychology tricks that can help you navigate tricky social situations. You know, life throws us curveballs. We've all been there. Those moments when you're stuck in an argument, you need to speak your truth without causing a meltdown, or you just can't seem to get your point across. Listen, communication is key, and that doesn't mean just talking. It's about truly understanding and connecting with the person in front of you. From handling arguments to speaking your heart out without hurting others, we've got you covered. Let's get real and equip you with the tools you need to handle any conversation like a pro. All right, let's talk about arguments. Nobody likes them, but they're a part of life. Whether it's with a friend, family member, or colleague, disagreements are inevitable. The key here isn't to win the argument, but to resolve the conflict and maintain a healthy relationship. It's about finding common ground and moving forward together. And that starts with understanding where the other person is coming from. You need to put yourself in their shoes and see the situation from their perspective. You see, most of the time, arguments escalate because people feel like they're not being heard, right? When emotions run high, it's easy to get caught up in your own point of view. So the first step is to actively listen. This means giving your full attention to the other person and really hearing what they have to say. I'm talking about really tuning in to what the other person is saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak. It's about being present in the moment. Make eye contact, nod your head, and show them you're present. These small gestures can make a big difference in how the conversation unfolds. And don't interrupt. Let them get their point across. Interrupting can make the other person feel disrespected and unheard. Now, once they're done, here's where empathy comes in. Empathy is about connecting with the other person's feelings and showing that you care. Try to see things from their perspective. Imagine how you would feel if you were in their situation. Put yourself in their shoes. This can help you understand their emotions and reactions better. Even if you don't agree with them, you can still validate their feelings. Acknowledging their emotions can help de-escalate the situation. You can say something like, "I understand why you're feeling frustrated." This shows that you're making an effort to understand their point of view. If I were in your position, I might feel the same way. This kind of statement can bridge the gap between differing opinions. See, that's not about agreeing with their point, but it shows you're making an effort to understand. It's about building a connection and finding a way forward. And that can go a long way in de-escalating the situation. When people feel heard and understood, they're more likely to be open to finding a resolution. Remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just about talking, but also about listening and understanding. It's about listening, understanding, and responding with empathy. This approach can transform conflicts into opportunities for growth and understanding. Don't approach an argument like it's a battle to be won. Instead, see it as a chance to learn more about each other and strengthen your relationship. Approach it like a problem to be solved together. By working together, you can find solutions that satisfy both parties and build a stronger bond. Now let's talk about speaking your mind without causing World War III. It's a delicate balance, but it's entirely possible with the right approach. We all have things we need to say, right? Whether it's at work, with friends, or in our personal relationships, communication is key. But how you say them can make all the difference. The tone, the words, and the approach can either build bridges or burn them. That's where I statements come in. They are a powerful tool in effective communication. Think of it this way. When you use your statements, it sounds accusatory. It feels like an attack, even if that's not your intention. It puts the other person on the defensive, and that's when things can escalate. Arguments can spiral out of control quickly. But when you use I statements, you're taking ownership of your feelings and expressing them in a non-confrontational way. It's about sharing your perspective without blaming. So instead of saying you're always late, which is a direct attack, you could say, "I feel disrespected when you're late." See the difference? It's subtle but significant. You're not blaming them. You're simply stating how their actions make you feel. This approach can lead to more productive conversations. And here's the thing. Feelings are subjective. They are personal and unique to each individual. You're entitled to your feelings, even if the other person doesn't understand them. It's important to acknowledge and validate your own emotions, but when you express them using I statements, it opens up a dialogue. It invites the other person to understand your perspective. It allows for understanding and empathy rather than defensiveness and anger. This can strengthen relationships and build trust. Remember, communication is not about being right or wrong. It's about connection and understanding. It's about expressing yourself in a way that is both honest and respectful. This fosters a positive environment for dialogue, so the next time you need to speak your truth, remember the power of I statements. They can transform your conversations. It's about owning your feelings, not pointing fingers. This simple shift can make a world of difference in how your message is received. The art of the interruption, jumping in without stepping on toes. Let's be honest, interrupting someone is usually considered rude. It can disrupt the flow of conversation and make the other person feel disrespected. But sometimes you just got to jump in, right? There are moments when staying silent isn't an option. Maybe you have a burning question or you need to clarify something. Perhaps you have an important point that can't wait. The key here is to interrupt respectfully without derailing the entire conversation. It's about finding that balance. First things first, timing is everything. Knowing when to speak up is crucial. Don't just barge in when someone's in the middle of a thought. This can be jarring and off-putting. Wait for a natural pause, even if it's just a brief one. This shows that you're considerate of the speaker's time and effort, and when you do jump in, make sure you're polite. Politeness can soften the impact of your interruption. A simple "excuse me" or "I'm sorry to interrupt" goes a long way. It acknowledges the disruption and shows respect. Now here's a little trick. Try to connect your interruption to what the other person is saying. This creates a seamless transition. This shows you're actually listening and not just waiting for your turn to speak. Active listening is key. For example, you could say, "That reminds me of something." This ties your point to the ongoing discussion. Or, to go back to what you were saying about, this shows continuity and respect for the speaker's ideas. And when you do get your turn to speak, be concise. Brevity is appreciated in conversations. Get to the point without rambling. This keeps the conversation focused and engaging. Remember, you interrupted, so be mindful of their time. Respecting time shows you value the conversation, and most importantly, be aware of your body language. Non-verbal cues can speak volumes. Don't be aggressive or dismissive. This can create a hostile environment. Maintain eye contact, keep your tone respectful, and show them you value their input. This fosters a positive interaction. Remember, interrupting doesn't have to be a conversational sin. It can be done gracefully. Done right, it can actually enhance the flow of the conversation and lead to a more engaging exchange. It can bring new perspectives and ideas to the table. Turning lemons into lemonade, handling criticism with grace. Let's face it, nobody enjoys being criticized. It can feel like a personal attack, even when it's not intended that way. But here's the thing. Criticism can be valuable if you know how to handle it. The key is to not get defensive. I know, easier said than done, right? But instead of firing back or shutting down, try this. Thank the person for their feedback. That's right, thank them. This shows you're open to hearing what they have to say, even if you don't agree with it, and it disarms them. They're less likely to be aggressive if you're not being defensive. Now, here's where you can dig deeper. Ask for specific examples. This shows you're genuinely interested in understanding their perspective and using their feedback to improve. You can say something like, "Can you give me an example of when I did that?" Or, "What specifically could I have done differently?" Remember, criticism is often about perception. What one person perceives as a flaw, another might see as a strength. So, don't take it personally. Use it as an opportunity for growth and self-reflection. And who knows, you might even learn something about yourself in the process. Instant connection-building rapport, like a mind-reading magician. Ever wonder how some people just seem to click instantly, like they've known each other for years? Well, it's not magic, but it can feel like it. It's all about building rapport, and one of the most effective ways to do that is through mirroring. Now, I'm not talking about mimicking their every move like a robot. That's just creepy. Subtlety's key here. Start by paying attention to their body language. Are they leaning in? Mirroring their posture can create a sense of connection. Are they speaking softly? Adjust your volume to match theirs. The key is to be subtle and natural. You're not trying to be a copycat, you're simply creating a sense of harmony and understanding. And here's the thing, mirroring is not just about body language. You can also mirror their words and tone. For example, If they use a particular phrase, try incorporating it into your own conversation. Or if they speak with a certain level of enthusiasm, match their energy. Remember, people like people who are like them, so by subtly mirroring their behavior, you're creating an unconscious sense of familiarity and connection, and that can go a long way in building rapport and establishing trust. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching. If you found these psychology tricks helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content and updates. Remember, mastering the art of conversation takes practice and patience. Don't be afraid to try these tricks out in your everyday life and see the difference. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become over time. Let us know in the comments which trick you found most useful, or share your own tips and experiences.